Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to the sports segment of the weekend show. I'm Ayo Adams, and today we'll be talking about sports community in Nigeria. But first, the former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan once said sports is a universal language, and at its best, it can bring people together no matter the origin, background, religious beliefs, and economic status. Well, today on the program, I have Idris Shuaibu, who is a sport enthusiast and also the co-founder of Abuja Flag Football. Second time on the show. Good morning, Idris.
Thank you for having me.
Compliments of the season.
Again. Compliments of the season. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, it's good well to our viewers. Well, first, so let's get started. The sports industry, it's a very vast community. I mean, the football organization has over 3.5 billion people. Basketball and American football have over 400 million people in their fan base and their community. Absolutely. How would you say the community in sport has influenced or has impacted the development of sports so far?
Well, I think the community of sports is just like this is just kind of the beginning of it, and you know the impact of it just continues to grow every single day as we just progress in life. And like, it's just ridiculous what's going on in sports right now. And you know, for my country, Nigeria, I just really wish we can just join in on what's going on right now in the world, because it's kind of like a huge revolution, and the technology even going into sports these days, is just crazy. So I'm telling you. Yeah.
And so taking Abuja Flag Football as a point of reference, the last time you were here was also December last year when you were here with I think that was the first season of the league. And if you tap into the communities, how has it impacted the growth of your platform? Or if you look at Nigeria generally, the sport platforms you've seen in Nigeria, or the grassroots sports platforms you've seen, and you've seen them grow from step 1 to step 2, how important is that community?
Well, firstly, I want to actually say congratulations on 5 stars. 5 stars is amazing.
Thank you.
And the community of sports, I mean, right now in Nigeria, I think we've gotten to a point where we're kind of all supporting one another to grow in each of our, different industries of sports. And, in our Abuja Flag games, for example, you tend to see these boxers coming in and watching. You tend to see soccer players coming in and watching. You see rugby players coming in and watching. And we do the same for them in their sports as well. So I think it's kind of, everybody coming in and helping one another grow, because we know how great the industry is, and we're all like really huge enthusiasts of the industry. So, due to that, I think, the growth of it is due to, like, I think all the enthusiasts all over the nation that just are in love with sports, and they all just come together every single day to just watch and support.
And if you look at communities and youth development, I mean, we can't deny the fact that the increase of sports participation has also taken people off the streets. And I mean, like, you just spoke about 5 stars, the community is growing year in, year out. I mean, started with 6-7 teams. Now they do the league with 16 teams, and you see these young people, very young ages. In the league this season, we had kids such as 17, 18. They already have a place to go to. So now, if in Nigeria, as a case study, now let's say eventually they create this vast community where kids can come to. Yeah. Do you think it will reduce the increase in fraud, drug abuse, and all those other things? How is the development of those communities? Because the communities they are increasing day by day. Abuja Flag Football, there's 5 stars, there's all the platforms. Yeah. Would it help the kids?
Well, let me just say this. Like, I have this cousin of mine that this kid is like so energetic. You can see it in him, but then you never see him outside hanging out with his friends. You tend to see him every single day in the football field playing. You know why? Because he has the dream of becoming a superstar one day, a football player one day. So he's not even going out and interacting with people, because he wants to really, grow on that particular talent of his. What I mean by this is I think, with kids, when it comes to sports, it's a love that I think is just founded naturally, because it takes your physical abilities, So just due to that, I think they just, there's this kid, for example, in Abuja Flag, right? His name is Ayman. He's amazing. This kid is 8 years old. He's 8 years old, and man, this kid is one of the fastest people even in the league for me, And there's this other kid is 8 years old as well, and they're actually superstars in our league, And this actually boosts their morale and takes them to another level of their mental toughness, you know.
Yeah.
And it just helps them kind of get into the world very, very confident, because they know that in that respective sport that they play, they're good, and
they can triumph.
That alone helps them understand that, man, wherever I go to, I'm going to be amazing because he's good in that particular thing.
Now, talking about this kit yet again,
Yeah.
we've seen, I think the normal path and mantra is develop in Nigeria and then shoot out to Europe. Do you think it's best that every single time we groom this time, because Nigeria is a home and hub of ridiculous amounts of talented young people, both male and female.
Yes.
And the end game for most of them is train, and find a way to jet to Europe.
Yes.
Does that help us? And if that doesn't help as a country and as a community, what can we do to keep them grounded? That we know that, like you mentioned, the communities are there, they are trickling, they are tripling. But why haven't they been able to lock them down and say, okay, that 8-year-old you spoke about, Iman, if he becomes a superstar, would he want to stay and play in Abuja Flag or in the 5 Stars, or rather than jetting off to Europe to go and get something for himself?
So here's the thing, like, we have kind of a mindset here in this country whereby everybody just wants to go abroad and play. But we tend to forget that we are actually the producers of the talent. So why can we not breed our own talent and then groom them and grow them and build something huge here in Nigeria? But no, all we want to do is to ship our players abroad and, you know, have people abroad playing. But honestly, I feel like having something as big as, you know, the EPL, for example, or the NFL or the NBA is possible in Nigeria. All we need to do is just put the effort into it, you know, because like most people, they sleep on sports, you know, the kind of money that is made in the sports world right now, like Messi signed a $600+ million contract, right? You have Patrick Mahomes in the NFL signing $500 million. You have Canelo in boxing signing $300+ million. You get me? Like all over the world. And wherever you go to in these like, you know, different leagues, you tend to see Nigerians as the top athletes in these different, you know, sports platforms. So when you really think about it, what are we really doing here? We just want to like produce and ship. Like, do we want to do it the way we do it with our oil? Like, I don't want to get there, you get me? You know, or like everything else. You know, do we want to actually industrialize sports as well? Or do we want to just continue sleeping on it the way we sleep on everything else, you know?
Because, I mean, if you look into the future, I mean, I've been conversating with some of these young talents during the league, and post-match interviews, you get, at the end of the day, it's always something about, I just want to play in Europe. I just want to play in Europe. And in my head, I kept thinking, why can't we create a community so vast and well-developed and enhanced that this kid, I mean, it's like the Barclays Center in New York. When you step into it, I've not been there before, but I've seen the scenes on YouTube and every other platforms, and you'd see this immense community. There are vendors selling food, there's a gym, there's a basketball court, there's this, there's that, there's that. Absolutely. But some of these things do exist here, but the underdevelopment, the consistency of these things repeatedly doesn't happen. We have festivals that happen every year. We have Edo Festival, we have Enugu Festival that happen. We include sports in it. But at the end of the day, these kids still want to go. Now, is putting the structure alone can't change the mentality? Do you think that there's another thing we can do? If, hypothetically, say you're in that position, because if you develop the facilities now, say the facilities are on ground, do you think the branding around sports in Nigeria is enough to keep them grounded?
Well, I think branding alone cannot do the trick, but branding as well is very, very bad in terms of, like, you know, Nigerian sports. When you see, like, for example, the you know, Nigerian Premier League, the soccer league, you know, like we spoke about this, and you know, you tend to see their branding is actually not that great, you know, and that alone, I think, you know, makes people not kind of even know what's going on in the Premier League, you know.
They're not informed.
Yeah, people are not really informed on what's actually going on, you know. You see these athletes, for example, in like cereal commercials in America, you know.
But you're not seeing them here.
But you're not seeing them here. Like, what is the problem?
So the kids are looking at, even the people who we are looking at here in this country, as big as they are in their individual local leagues, they are still not on the major platforms.
Definitely.
So the only way we can get on the major platforms is if we are outside the country.
Exactly. That's what we think. But you know, what we should know is we're in a different era. Right now, like, the internet and social media is everything. You know, all you have to do is to just package it properly and just take a picture, and that's it. You have a crowd. You know, people are going to come out of their houses wanting to watch what's going on. Like, we have seen this firsthand with Abuja flag, you know. With Abuja flag, for example, we just take some very nice pictures and say, yo, everybody come outside and have fun with us. And they actually do, especially if you promise them suya. You know? But, you know, you tend to see these like communities developing in maybe America and England and others, you know, due to the fact that, you know, these facilities are actually built. So, you know, I feel like definitely facilities need to be built, you know.
That's the first step.
That's the first step. You need to have facilities. You need to have very, very beautiful, you know, good-looking facilities where there are vendors selling good food, you know.
Yeah.
Because we love food, right? So bring vendors that sell good food. Everybody's going to come out to see what's actually going on there. You can have, you know, your celebrities, your music stars. Like, Nigerian music is all over the place in the world today. You bring your music
everything, sports,
bring them together, let them have a performance at halftime, for example. That is going to bring people out. You know, so it's all about, like, I think just building something amazing, and it's something that we can do. You know, it's something that we can definitely do. And to say that, oh, we're going to wait for the government to do it, I think is just being lazy. Because when you think about it, the EPL, the NFL, the NBA, all these leagues, they're not owned by the government. They're privately owned. So what are we doing? You know, we're actually still waiting on the government to do something for us. And we can't. You know, we put our hands there. We make the right partnerships. We come together, and we get it done.
I like that's a fine place to live. I like the final part of partnerships. Well, as viewers, you can hear Idris has said it here. The sports community in Nigeria has been increasing and it has been growing repeatedly. And to keep that consistency going, we need to build structures. We need to have proper systems, and most especially the branding. Well, Idris, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, don't worry.
We can have this conversation for hours, honestly.
Yeah, most definitely. My name is Ayo Adams, and you can follow me on social media platforms at Ayo Adams SS. Don't go anywhere. The weekend show is still on. Stay tuned.